You are now listening to The Forefront Radio, where we discuss history, the Bible, the history of the Israelites, science, and other matters. Bring it out. The history of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as it relates to the Bible. Who were you prior to slavery? Who were you prior to colonization? These answers and more can be seen and heard as you listen to The Forefront Radio.
Shalom, welcome to the Forefront Radio. I'm the host, I feel Levi Israel. At this time, we're going to talk about an important topic, the Roe versus Wade deception. But first, if you are a new listener to this podcast, I would recommend to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. I also have a backup channel called the Forefront Radio 1. The Forefront Radio started in 2020, and we talked about the question, who were you prior to slavery? Who were you prior to colonization? These answers and more can be heard as you listen to the Forefront Radio. So now, there's a lot of speculation going on right now about the Roe versus Wade situation. So we wanted to kind of touch on it briefly and give you some information, statistical data, and proof that there was an agenda from the get-go with this deception. Watch this.
Roe versus Wade, which legalized abortion in America and changed our nation in an unprecedented way.
So listen to the words this woman is saying. She is saying that she was the one that went on to discuss Roe versus Wade. She was the one responsible for bringing out this information and causing an entire debacle in this country. Listen to what she says.
Back in 1973, I was a very confused 21-year-old with one child and facing an unplanned pregnancy.
Oh, sob story. In 1973, I was pregnant. I got knocked up and I couldn't do anything. Listen close. Listen to the deception.
At the time, I fought to obtain a legal abortion. But the truth be told, I have 3 daughters and have never had an abortion.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop the presses. This Krabby Patty, this red Krabby Patty, said that she did not have an abortion. The very plaintiff that established the 1973 world-changing event within the so-called African American community, this Krabby Patty said she didn't have an abortion.
However, upon knowing God, I realized that my case...
Wait, then she says that she knows God. What God is she talking about? What God are you referring to? Not the God that says thou shalt not kill. Not that one. Not the God of Israel. Surely not that God. Because he says thou shalt not kill. But you know what? The God Molech, which is the deity of these Christian churches, aka Baal, aka Chemosh, aka Molech, all of these modern systems of worship across the world worship Baal. They worship Molech. And if you read in the Bible, you find out that Molech was the deity where they sacrificed human children, infants, babies, just like here in America.
Which legalized abortion on demand was the biggest mistake of my life. You see, abortion has eliminated 50 million innocent babies in the U.S. alone.
It says 50 million children. This is called infanticide, okay? 50 million. And out of that, 19 million of those since 1973 were so-called African Americans. But guess what? We're going to have the statistical information to back up what we're going to talk about. We're going to have everything lined up.
1973. Abortion scars an untold number of post-abortive mothers, fathers, and families too. You read about me in history books, but now I'm dedicated to spreading the truth about preserving the dignity of all human life from natural conception. Most recognize.
So we find out that this individual ended up falsifying and not she was groundbreaking in the fact that she enabled this system of governments to create a way to legalize the murder of children. If you don't realize we're in Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations on the earth, I would ask you to read your Bible and investigate accurate history. Okay? Now I found another video that was really striking in regards to this situation. So I decided, you know what? Let me take a glance at this other video and share it with those that are listening. Okay. Oh, let me rewind that because I think the previous tab we had didn't have audio. So let me restore and reopen the closed tab that we had. 1 second. 1 second. I want to make sure that the audio is playing correctly. So I'm going to replay it just to ensure that the audio came out. Let's make sure the audio is working on that. All right, one moment, bear with me. Okay, let's try this again.
I'm also plaintiff in the Supreme Court case.
So Jane Roe, let me repeat it again. Jane Roe was responsible for abortion in the United States. She was the one that came up, and now she's exposing the truth that she never had an abortion ever. So they passed a law, they framed mischief by a law to create a way to eliminate children. But guess what? Their plans backfired because they didn't want Lily Red Krabby Patty to do it. They didn't want Esau Idumea Edom to do it. They wanted black people to do it. That's why they gave abortion to black communities for free. But wait, we'll listen to that in just a moment.
Roe versus Wade, which legalized abortion in America and changed our nation in an unprecedented way. Back in 1973, I was a very confused 21-year-old with one child and facing an unplanned pregnancy.
Call the wambulance, call the wambulance. When. When I was young, I got knocked up, and now I have held the whole entire country responsible for my own actions. This, my friend, is a deception. This individual by the name of Jane Roe, which isn't actually her real name, never had an abortion. There's a deception afoot, and we are going to expose it.
At the time, I fought to obtain a legal abortion, but the truth be told, I have 3 daughters and have never had an abortion.
Wait a minute, hold on, stop the presses. The truth is, she has 3 children, and she never, straight out the Krabby Patty's mouth, never had an abortion. So now listen up. If you're using your critical thinking skills, how can there be an entire court case created where a person is trying to seek money to allow them to do something and it never transpired even after they made the decision, right? By the time the decision was made, she didn't have it done, not secretly, not anything. It wasn't done. So all these crazy starch advocates that's like, yeah, we're fighting for the right to kill babies, you're an idiot. You are naive. You are dumb. You are living under an illogical rock.
However, upon knowing God, I realized that my case, which legalized abortion on
Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Then all of a sudden she has the gall to say, after knowing God, wait, which God? I have to say it again, which God? Not the God of Israel. No, 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 no. Not the God of Israel. The God of Israel says, thou shalt not kill. That's the God of Israel, folks. But guess what? The pagan deities of this society, like Baal, like Molech, yeah, they allow human sacrifice.
demand was the biggest mistake of my life. You see, abortion has eliminated 50 million innocent babies in the U.S. alone since 1973. Abortion scars an untold number of post-abortive mothers, fathers, and families too. You read about me in history books, but now I'm dedicated to spreading the truth about preserving the dignity of all human life from natural conception. Most recognize
This is all cap. This is all cap. You see that? Because many people don't understand that we live in a society where we have been deceived, we have been tricked, we have been bamboozled. Guess what, folks? Abortion is murder, and it's strictly against the scriptures. Whether you like it, hate it, love it, whatever you feel, God don't care about your feelings. God does not care about our feelings. You understand? So we're going to share another clip going into the same subject.
We were given this free thing from the Society of America, abortion. 78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. To put it in words of one pro-abortionist, we don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. These feelings about black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion. Been asking for the right to decent housing, the right to education, in fact, the right to health care. And all we've been given free of charge is the right to kill our unborn child.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. So hold on. While in one instance they said that they wanted to advocate for women's rights, disproportionately, the free abortion services that they wanted to give was to black and urban populations. So now you see the Krabby Patty in the first video stating that she never had an abortion, although a court case was created for this thing. Now, in this other video, let's play it again from the top because maybe I didn't hear it right.
All of a sudden, we were given this free thing from the Society of America, abortion.
So the year was 1973. A decade prior to that was the 1960s, and black folks were fighting for equality, fighting for civil rights, begging, getting dog sicked on them, getting hosed down in the middle of the streets, getting bust over the head with batons just to be treated like human, decent beings. They abused the children of Israel, according to the scriptures, and then said, you know what, we love you now. We're not going to persecute you. Let's just, scrimple a new law and stuff and get a court case riled up, and let's kind of, we're not gonna attack you openly anymore. Let's do some things covertly.
78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. To put it in words of one pro-abortionist, We don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. These feelings about Black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, Black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion. Been asking for the right to decent housing, the right to education, in fact, the right to health care. And all we've been given free of charge is the right to kill our unborn child.
That is incredible. That is heavy. Okay. That is the most heavy, intense thing I have ever heard in my life. Okay. But wait, there's more. During that time, they actually did something else that I want the listener listening to the Forefront Radio to pay attention to. They did something else that was significant to the population of society. Watch this.
In just those states that have released their records, it is known that at least 60,000 Americans were sterilized, and they were disproportionately Black. In addition, during a 1973 lawsuit, a federal judge estimated that as many as 150,000 additional low-income women may have been sterilized under federal programs alone.
So, under federal, meaning governmental programs, the same year, 1973, Roe v. Wade, what was going on in the United States of America? Forced sterilization. You know what that means? Forced hysterectomies. Wait a minute. I thought it was my body, my choice. How is it when they're convincing 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-old children to have forced abortions?
These sterilizations were often performed without the patient's knowledge or consent, and sometimes against their will. It was also common for social workers to tell welfare recipients that they would lose their benefits if they did not agree to be sterilized. In some cases, poor families were even threatened with the loss of welfare unless they brought their children in for sterilization. The result was that some of the people sterilized were as young as 10 years old.
This hurts my heart continually because people walk around with their heads in the sand and say, God bless America. Listen, they're as patriotic as a potato, okay? Because when real stuff is going on, that is clearly injustice and against civil liberties and against freedom, they stick their head in the sand and say, I don't know what's going on. No, there's no racism in America. No, in America, no. We love everybody. They were sterilizing children at 10 years old. They were sterilizing children without their consent at 10 years old. Did this child have the right to my body, my choice? Hmm? Did this innocent little girl have that right?
In the first 6 months of 1972, one hospital in Aiken County, South Carolina, sterilized over 1/3 of the Medicaid patients who were there to give birth, and all but one of these women were Black. One patient said she was told by all 3 of the county's obstetricians that they would not deliver her baby unless she agreed to be sterilized.
You're living in a society where you can bring this is why people talk about high mortality rates with women, right? Because they don't know that historically speaking, when Black women were going to have babies, these Krabby Patties, these Edomites, went and said, sign this documentation and state that you will have us rip out your womb after you give birth to this child. Listen, this was worse than communist China, with their one birth, one child, one male child policy that we know of. This was worse than that. This was worse than that.
Her claim was later confirmed by each of the doctors. Another patient said she was told by one of these same physicians that he was tired of having to help support the babies of welfare recipients and that she could either agree to be sterilized or find another doctor.
Okay, I'm done with this. The name of the documentary is Ma'afa 21, Black Genocide in the 21st Century of America. Look it up on YouTube to watch it. I can't go into it further because I'll just be too irritated to go into it any further because that's it. So I have more articles real quick. I'm gonna just touch on it briefly. This is very vital information and very important because many people do not know the truth. And what is the truth? That so called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are the lost tribes of Israel, that they're God's chosen people, and America has literally imprisoned, enslaved, harassed, sterilized God's chosen people. You act like there ain't a God in heaven. Guess what? Your boy Donald Trump knows there's a God up there. You know why? Because he authorized a so called Space Force, a so called Space Command. What's up there? What's up there that they're so afraid of? What are they scared of? Maybe, just maybe, there is a God. And he's a God of the Israelites. And if he is a God of the Israelites, and you read in the Bible verses like Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2, that says that the tribe of Judah are black just like the soil of the earth, black unto the ground. And then you say, hold up, wait up. Wait. Isn't Jesus from the tribe of Judah? Yes, he is. So there's a black God, a black Jesus, black angels. What are they afraid of up there? So let's get into this article real quick. This is the picture of the woman. On her deathbed, she finally confesses through a documentary that she did not have an abortion. Let's touch on it briefly. It's based on the Washington Post. You can look it up through a Google search. What to make of Norma McCorvey? This week, a new documentary drops a boulder into the already complicated legacy of the woman better known as Jane Roe, the plaintiff in the landmark 1973 case that legalized abortion in America. In the mid 1990s, McCorvey had made a public religious and political conversion. Oh, she found white Jesus. She was baptized on television. This how you know this is fake. She was baptized on television in a backyard swimming pool. She wore overalls and came out beaming. All right, scrolling down an article. Let's see the point. Let's get to the point. Okay, so it says she never really supported. Oh, here it is. Here it is. She never really supported the anti-abortion movement. Hello. Hello. Where are all the fun? Where are all the gynocratic feminists? Where are they? Where are the misandrists now? She never supported. So your whole entire movement is based on a lie. A lie. And guess what the Bible says? Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness. An entire movement created for the sole purpose of a eugenics program by Margaret Sanger. When you watch that documentary that I referred you to, Ma'afa 21, you find out this lady has ties to the KKK. She also has ties to the American eugenics movement, who had the sole purpose of creating a master race. There you go, folks. All based on lies. All based on lies. So let's scroll down. It says the revelation comes 60 minutes into the 80-minute documentary. By minute 70, McCorvey has died, succumbing to illness, leaving the people to know on both sides of the most polarizing cultural debate in America, slack-jawed and stunned. McCorvey never had an abortion. So there you have it, folks. She never had an abortion. Never. It didn't happen. It did not happen. So now let's get the statistical data of who was impacted by this negative thing that we know of as the Ma'afa. Okay, so who was impacted the worst by this situation? Let's look at this real quick. The impact of abortion on the Black community. This was published January 19th, 2020. They do offer also a PDF. So if you want to download this, study it, examine it for yourself, because we like statistical proven fact and not just rhetoric. On the Forefront Radio, we like to talk about things, but we go based on facts. That's what we do. Facts. Cure policy.org/report/the-impact-of-abortion-on-the- I'm sorry, I keep saying dash, but you know what it is. Black community slash. All right, so here we go. Introduction. Abortion and racism are both symptoms. Abortion and racism are both symptoms of a fundamentally human error. Which group of humans are that? I wonder. The error is thinking that when someone stands in the ways of our wants, we can justify getting that person out of our lives. Let's talk about abortion and racism. Getting that person out of our lives. So, which persons? Which groups are we trying to get out of our lives? Okay. We create the deceptions that the other person is less worthy, less human. We are all fully human. When we face this truth, there is no justification for treating those who look different than us as lesser beings. If we simply treat other people the way we'd like to be treated, racism, abortion, and other forms of inhumanity will be things of the past. Dr. Alveda King, pro-life leader and the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King. All right, good quote, good quote, good quote. All right, let's touch on it briefly. There's a lot of different quotations here, but let's touch on it briefly. Let me see, where will I start? All right, since the 1973 Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision, about 63 million babies have been aborted in facilities across the nation. 63 million. Something is coming across my mind. Hold on one second. How many people died in World War II? Because this something is up. Something is bothering me about this 63 million statistical information. Hold on, wait. It's estimated that 40 to 50 million people died during World War II. Wait a minute. So 40 to 50 million people died in World War II. After World War II, which was around the 1940s, after World War II, it says 63 million. 63 million. Let's go back to it because you just have to crunch these numbers in your head. So we're finding out that about 63 million babies, more than World War II, have been aborted in facilities across the nation. It can be said with certainty that the practice has had a personal, practical, and political effect on communities and citizens. Every town, city, ethnicity, and age group has suffered from the tragic effects of this most surgical and sometimes chemical procedure. The true toll of abortion may remain unknown and immeasurable because of the data. For the most part, has not been well collected or has been ignored by those responsible for its collection. Now, understand this. God judged in ancient times for innocent blood, from the blood of Abel being judged on Cain and his descendants, to the blood of the Israelites when their children were taken into Egypt and ancient Pharaoh tried to kill them. Black Egyptians tried to assassinate Black Jews, Black Hebrews. If you look on the archaeology, you will find hieroglyphs of Black slaves in Egypt. Okay? So now, when you fast forward to the New Testament, they were trying to kill the Savior. Herod, who was a descendant of the Edomites, who was part of the Greco Roman Empire, was trying to assassinate the coming Messiah. He slaughtered and killed hundreds of thousands of children under the age of 2. When we fast forward to the time of the Inquisition, many women and children were killed, pregnant women killed by the Roman Catholic Church. And the Roman Catholic Church was the same institution that said that they would pass a law to enslave Black Jews, Moors, and quote unquote infidels. Look it up. You got Google. In the information age, you can't be stupid. You can't be sottish. Look it up. Dum diversus. Pope Nicholas V, I believe. Look it up. So now we fast forward to the United States of America. You know, I don't even want to touch on the native indigenous populations that got killed and the African Americans and Israelites that got killed through the Middle Passage. Let's fast forward past that. Let's go to 1973 up until now. 63 million innocent children impacted. Let's read on. Abortion has been the most unregulated industry in America because too many governors, legislators, and attorneys generally fail to enforce or write laws that actually protect women. You see that? There you go. It's not about protecting women, folks. It's not about women's rights, folks. The jig is up. In addition to the lack of regulation, the ravages of choice continue to take a toll on individuals, families, states, and our nation. It has been particularly harmful for Blacks, Black culture, and Black communities. So now let's fast forward down. Let's get some more statistical data. Under the paragraph entitled The Abortion Consumer, disproportionately the leading consumer of abortion services in the African American community is the African American female. So now consider the fact that they were offering these services for free. When the heck did America ever give you stuff for free? You pay for water that falls out of the sky. You pay for electricity that was invented way, way back when, okay, that naturally comes out of the sky as well through lightning. So you pay for electricity, you pay for water, you pay for lumber, and you can go out, you can walk outside your apartment or outside of your house and you see trees, but you're paying for these things. So when did America ever want to give you something for free without there being an agenda? Let's read it again. Disproportionately, the leading consumer of abortion services in the African American is the African American female, according to the United States Census Bureau and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Abortion Surveillance Report. Black women made up 15% of the childbearing population in 2018, yet obtained 33.6% of reported abortions. There's a lot more that probably haven't been reported. Black women have the highest abortion ratio in the country with 335 abortions per 1,000 live births. Percentages at these levels illustrate that about 20 million Black babies have been aborted since 1973. So that tells me out of 63 million or so, 20 million of those were Black. So folks was like, we gotta stop this Roe versus Wade. Too many Caucasian women are getting into this thing too. Let's stop it. I literally just saw a video on Instagram, where a Caucasian woman stand with her MAGA master named Mr. Red Plumpy Trumpy, right, and said, "We appreciate you, Donald Trump, and all the MAGA people for saving white life." What? Oh, that's what the agenda was about? Oh, that's why they canceled Roe v. Wade. Too many red people having abortions. Krabby Patty. Krabby Patty. Hmm. Let's scroll down. Let's look at this. Planned Parenthood targets minority neighborhoods. 21%, 79% over here. So it says in the green area, 79% Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities near minority neighborhoods. So approximately almost 80% of all the Planned Parenthoods were surgically aborted children. These facilities were near Blacks, Native Americans, and Latino populations. So, guess what? Little lily white girls. They were traveling across the train tracks, going to the hood to get abortions, going to the cities, going to the urban areas, leaving the suburbs to come to the hood to get their abortions. That's what was happening. Then it says Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities in other neighborhoods, 21%. So this is the statistical data that you can look up on the website. Let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. Let's see here. The population control nexus. Abortion has been used as a part of the population control agenda. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg reminded the nation of this in her 2009 New York Times Magazine interview when she said, quote, "Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of. Populations that we don't want to have many of." And she was historically accurate. President Richard Nixon declared birth control for, quote, low income women, aka black women. Whenever they use this terminology, that's what they're referring to. For low income women to be a national goal in 1969 before signing the first federal birth control program into law in 1970. Nixon also cites certain concerns about controlling the black population in conversation with White House staff that were recorded during his presidency. Some examples follow. Now, listen carefully, folks. This is a president of the freest nation in the world. Liberty, justice for all. Dun da da da. Pull out your Superman tights, right? But guess what? The most wicked system on the planet who killed more children than World War II. Let us read. A majority of people in Colorado voted for abortion. I think a majority of people in Michigan are for abortion. I think in both cases, well, certainly in Michigan, they will vote for it because they think that what's going to be aborted generally are the little black bastards. This is a president of the United Nations. No wonder the International Tribunal cited the United States of human rights violations. No wonder they're trying to take this all the way to international court. No wonder God is sending plagues and judgments on this earth. No wonder. This is how the president of the free world thinks. So if the president thinks like that, that means his advisors think like that. that are giving him the advice to talk out of his mouth, that means the politicians that work around him think the same way. The judges, the lawyers, the senators, the House of Representatives, they all believe the same, either openly or not openly, either directly or indirectly. This was the 1970s, folks. There's folks right now still alive, and this is not something in the 1800s, not something in the 1700s, not even the 1600s. 1973. Some of your uncles and cousins, you're looking right at them. Some of your aunts and aunties that believe this, you're looking right at them. Give them a hug. Tell them God bless America. There will be a judgment day one day. And it says, as I told you, we talked about it earlier that a hell of a lot of people want to control the Negro bastards. People who don't control their families are the people that shouldn't have kids. These are the sentiments of Nixon, expressed during his presidency, that may provide context about his thinking when he announced the conclusions and recommendations of the 1969 Population Control Commission headed by John D. Rockefeller. So now I mentioned earlier that the abortion movement had its roots from a racist ideology, from the KKK, and the eugenics program. So let's touch on that real briefly before we conclude. It says, it is no accident. It is no accident that abortion has become so deeply entrenched within the Black community. Margaret Sanger, a founder of the American Birth Control Movement and the organization that is now known today as the Planned Parent Federation of America. Man, that sounds like some Nazi shit. Planned Parent Federation of America. Golly. Listen, this is a government sanctioned institution. This is a government sanctioned institution. PPFA was a leading spokesperson and activist in the promotion of controlling the birth rate among Blacks and others she considered undesirable. Here we go. Here's the heavy hitter. Here's the heavy hitter. In 1926, Sanger made a speech on birth control to a woman's auxiliary branch of the Ku Klux Klan in Silver Lake, New Jersey. She endorsed the 1927 Buck versus Bell Supreme Court decision, in which the court ruled that states could forcibly sterilize people deemed unfit without their consent and sometimes without their knowledge. In 1939, Sanger co-authored a report, quote, Birth Control and the Negro, end of quote, which stated that Negroes present the greatest problem of the South, and advocated for a birth control program geared towards a population characterized as largely illiterate and that still breed carelessly and disastrously. This is the mindset of the devil. The Bible says that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. A supporter of eugenics, Sanger became a formidable force when pushing her Negro Project, designed to employ Black leaders to promote birth control and limit the Black population. Now, listen to this carefully. This is why anyone that reads the Bible wants to have nothing to do with the Black church, nothing to do with churches that promote white supremacy. Watch this. Sanger recruited Black pastors to persuade minority women to use contraceptive birth control. This is sterilization. We do not want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members, she said. So they used modern religion, which is white supremacy. Jesus is black, clearly. So they use modern religion to deceive the masses, and they use black pastors to do it. So your own people that look like you can be supporting this wicked system. That's why when you read Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5, it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that slay them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. The black leaders, the black politicians, the black pastors knew they're not dumb people. They are vastly intelligent. But someone was pushing a check, someone was pushing an agenda, and people have to wake up. Thank you so much for listening to the Forefront Radio. I'm your host, Afiel Levi Israel. Was trying to keep it short, but it was a little bit long-winded, but this is a very important topic for us to get into and discuss. Please like, comment, share. If you like the content, please do share it with others on Facebook, Instagram. Take clips of it, share it all over the place. We need the people to be exposed to the truth about the Roe versus Wade deception. Shalom. Hey, my friend. You have just listened to the Forefront Radio. Please leave your comment and input about the show, what you like about the show, as well as any general feedback on ways to improve. We need your help to acquire new equipment to implement studio quality video and audio to our friends. Contribute as little as $4.99. It's only worth a cup of coffee. Then we can produce documentaries, more episodes, and great info for the diaspora. Go to Cash App and enter APHIELLEVI to donate to the Forefront Radio to cover our advertising costs and reach more people. Catch our next episode on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Anchor.fm/The Forefront. Always remember, the truth shall liberate the mind. Peace to the heirs of promise and the heritage of the scattered 12 tribes.